Alright, wrapping up this substitution lesson stuff. Yesterday we worked on learning the four main steps. I told you it was a very important 4 steps, especially the first 3 because I think we know how to solve. We learned how to use this box and switch to substitute. After we had the box and switch substitution, there was a distributive property that needed to be done. Once we distributed, we typically needed to combine terms again if necessary, and then again the solving for the variable should have been the easy part. What we should have gained was a solid amount of experience in doing those steps so that today is easier to deal with. A real quick self-check for you. If you have no clue about how to do substitution, how to find the first variable, I think you should go back and watch the video from yesterday now. I will not be teaching the old material as slowly as I did yesterday. So I'll be talking about it, but I won't be, doing all the extra stuff as if you don't know what you're talking about, or if you don't know what's going on. I'm going to move as if you actually kind of know what's going on. So let's start with a quick review. Again, be sure to watch all examples and write down a couple just for your reference, just to make sure you have something of importance to leave with today. What we learned yesterday was that we see a variable by itself, like this y. And y, because of the property of equality, has the same value as x minus 3. And because of that, what it means is that everywhere I see a y, I can put an x minus 3 in its place, and so we come down here to this y. We then write everything in front of the box for x minus. We swap out our y for a x minus 3, and then we write everything behind the box, which is equals 21. We then distribute, and this is where the second part comes from. That's a negative we're distributing, which means that everything on the inside switches. So 4x minus x plus 3 equals 21. You then go ahead and put your stuff together here. 4x minus x combined like terms makes 3x plus 3 equals 21. You subtract 3 from both sides, getting 3x equals 18. And then when you divide by 3, you get the answer of x equals 6. And that was where we stopped. Again, as long as you could find that first number, everything was good. We were good to go. And again, that was all we needed to do. So again, if anything in there bothered you, you might either want to go watch the video or get a real quick checkup with me. If it's a quick checkup, I can do it, but again, a lot of you tend to ask me questions that go back like weeks of information, and you want me to teach things that have kind of already been assumed or known. So like I said, if it's a quick checkup, come up to me. If not, I would say go to that other video and make sure you kind of pick it up, and then come and ask me for the filling of the gaps, but not for all of the information, because that's not a proper use of time there. Anyway, on the second one, again, you look for the variable as by itself. So here's x. By the property of equality, it means that x and 6y minus 2 have the same value. Because they have the same value, it means that everywhere I see an x, I can put 6y minus 2. And so again, we write everything in front of the box, which is just 2. We open up parentheses and swap out the x box for the 6y minus 2. Write everything behind the box, which is plus 3y equals 11. We then distribute. We get 12y minus 4 plus 3y equals 11. We then combine our like terms. 12y, 3y make 15y minus 4 equals 11. And then you solve plus 4 plus 4. 15y equals 15. And of course, I don't think we need to divide by 15 to know that y is equal to 1 in that problem. Again, this is a quick video, but it's just a real quick review to make sure you've got that part down. Yesterday's 4 steps or 3 steps, whatever it is we worked on the most, they are really what makes substitution easy or doable. And if you don't have those 4 steps down, then the rest of it's not going to be good. It doesn't always have to be in the top equation. Again, you're looking just for where the variable is alone. In this case, y is on the bottom. Y has the same value as x minus 6, which means that we can trade them legally without any penalty. And so we're going to go to the top equation again and write everything in front of the box. And then we're going to swap out our y for x minus 6. And then we're going to write equals 14. We are then again going to distribute that negative. 3x minus x plus 6 equals 14. We're then going to combine terms. You see a pattern, and it gets kind of old after a while, I know, but again, it's a good thing whenever it gets boring, because it means you've practiced it enough that you don't really need to think about it anymore. We then subtract 6 from both sides. We get 2x equals 8, and when we divide by 2, we end up with the answer of x equals 4. Again, that's what we did yesterday. Hopefully you understood those parts. If there was anything in the work that you got a bit lost on, again, feel free to bring your computer up so I can assist you. Again, that is if you were a little bit lost on some things, but not a lot. Again, if you're a lot lost, go backwards and rewatch it. Finding the second variable is our next step. Good news. The work that you have left to do is the easiest part. Just be sure to, again, take your time and calculate values carefully. Recall that substitution utilizes the property of equality. What that means is that if two things are equal, then they have the same value. And again, because of that, we can trade them in any situation. So very briefly, let's just look back at the problems that we worked on earlier with a higher level of substitution in mind. So going back to your notes, hopefully whatever one that you wrote down is the one that you'll follow on. And here's what happens. When we started out, we had two variables. We didn't know what y was, we didn't know what x was, so we couldn't solve that. We did not know what x was, we did not know what y was, so we could not solve that. We used substitution to get y away and leave us with just x. But in the end, equality says now that x is 6. Well, in the beginning we had two variables. Remember, the word variable means unknown, so we had two unknown amounts, but don't we know x now to be 6? And because of that, what we can do is we can copy down any equation, doesn't matter which one. I always choose the one that I substituted with, but I'll put y equals x minus 3. And what you can now do, again, because of the property of equality, is I can put a 6 where I see an x. So I end up with y equals 6 minus 3, which means that y is equal to 3. Typically, they're going to ask us for it in ordered pairs. Make sure you use parentheses. The computer is very picky about that, especially on your quiz. And your answer is 6, 3, because remember, x goes first, y goes second. And here is how you can check it. Take your 6, plug it in there, that makes 24. Take your 3, plug it in there, 24 minus 3 is 21. That answer works, and we're good to go. That is all. As I said about the good news, the rest of what we have to do is very, very easy, especially in substitution, because substitution gives you an easy way to plug it in. Again, after we initially had two variables, we didn't know what to do, but there were two systems. We used substitution to find the value of one variable. And again, once we find that variable, we can plug it into either one. Because I plugged it into the substitution one last time, I just want to show you it does not matter. I can plug it into this one too. 2x plus 3y equals 11. It will just require a little bit more algebra. But again, because I know that y is 1, I can turn any y in my equation into a 1. That then turns into 2x plus 3 equals 11, which then when I solve, subtracting 3, 2x equals 8, dividing by 2, and x is equal to 4. Well, again, looking at this here, again, also remember that your x always goes first, y always goes second, so it's 4, 1, always in parentheses. But again, here's how you can check it. We plugged it into this one, but we're going to check it here. If y is 1, 6 times 1 is 6. 6 minus 2 is your 4. Again, plug in the 1. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 minus 2 gives me x, which is 4. So that's all you have to do to wrap it up. Look at C before we get ready to wrap this video up. And again, it gives me x equals 4. The easiest one to plug in for is the one that you substituted with, which is the one where the variable's by itself, because it's already set up to be solved. Take this 4, plug it in for x, y is equal to 4 minus 6, y is equal to negative 2. Put your values into an ordered pair. X goes first, 4, negative 2, and that is all, except for the check. 3 times 4 is 12, negative 2 is plus 2, 12 plus 2 does make 14, so we see that it does work. Okay? So again, hopefully you see that this Assessment Monday is within reach. Use today to master the steps. Again, the reason why I set up yesterday was because if you think about what we just did, it would have just been extra information, extra practice for us doing something that's really, really easy and simple. So I wanted to focus on the part that was the most important, which is finding the first value. Once you get that, I think you should be good to go. So again, use today to master the steps, and as I saw a lot of us making small mistakes, so minimize those mistakes today. Ask as many questions as needed. Work together to ensure you have a solid understanding. Outside of that, again, there's plenty of work to be done. I'm sure that there's enough problems on the Math Excel that you should not be able to just put your computer up and say you're finished with everything unless you're going to show me officially that you did it. But other than that, good luck. And like I said, your quiz is Monday, or your assessment is Monday, so you might want to take some of this stuff home and study a little bit, because remember that if you review in class, you cannot take the test in class. So you might want to find some time to study this stuff and just make sure you still got it when you come in Monday. Good luck.